Josh and Frankie. What a couple of dumb shits.
Hello, Primates! You found Primus Tracks. Congratulations! There are many places to find Primus Tracks, but the easiest place to find us is right here, because the dulcet tones of our voices will get you through whatever miserable experience you're using us for. I am Josh. I am one of the hosts of Primus Tracks. He is lording over us all in Primus Tracks Towers from the 39th floor. It's Frankie Berestein.
Hey, Josh.
Frankie, we get questions from our listeners, and sometimes, I know it pains you to admit this, but sometimes we cannot answer all of them.
Sometimes we are surpassed by how deep these questions go.
That's right. And when we are plumbing the mad depths, we put up the signal and we dial some numbers on our phones. This man always answers the call. Welcome back to Primus Tracks, our great friend, Tim Soya.
Holy moly, here we are again.
Here he is. Oh, what a strong voice you have so early in the morning in some hotel room, wherever it is you are.
Well, guys, I find myself in London, England this time. Pretty interesting. I love to be on the other side of the world. I know Frankie's already on some other side of the world every time we do these. I do enjoy being on the other side of the world.
Beautiful.
We've got what they've called the Devil's Triad here going right now. Oregon to Mexico City to London. So
that's right. It's a huge triangle. It swallows everyone in its path. There's going to be big headlines later.
Let's fill the void with some Primus bandwidth, if you know what I mean.
Let's do it. It is long overdue. It's time for the good people who have submitted their questions for Tim Soya to have them answered right here on the podcast. And
all right.
And we put up a call of our own, and we asked some of our listeners to create a theme song for this. And our pal Brooks created what I think is a superlative-esque Soya theme song. Soya, is this the first song that anybody's ever written for you?
No.
Oh, there's
no.
Les wrote a song for Soya.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
Frankie, you're going to have to tell me about that. I forgot about that one.
Fuck you, Tim Soya, at Pachyderm Station.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck you too, Soya.
Fuck you, Tim Soya. I forgot about that improvised piece of beauty there.
I don't remember that one. What was that from?
So the story goes that you were having a conversation with Herf about drums, and Les dropped in. And you said something like, come on, this is drum talk. It's like, please, stay out of it. And the next day at the show, at the Hop Monk Tavern, Les improvised a song that went like, fuck you, Tim Soya, you arrogant son of a bitch. And it was like a twang arrangement. Yeah.
Wow. I do remember a moment I was really drunk and did say some really funny... I don't know if arrogant's the word. I think dumb. Dumb and drunk, trying to be cocky is more it. But.
Well, I can tell you this song is much more complimentary. So this is the second song ever dedicated to one Tim Soya by our pal Brooks. Here we go.
Hey, all you primates out there in podcast land, it's time for the Primus Tracks segment where you get to ask the questions and he's going to give the answers. But remember, he's forgotten more Primus shows than you'll probably ever go to. His name is Tim Soya, and it's time to ask Soya. 37, microphone, some serious side too, that's Soya. 37, microphone, some serious side too, that's Soya.
You know, you probably hate this song.
Yeah, I know.
That was awesome. I like how they went into Anthrax mode from the Primus Public Enemy Anthrax tour. That's great.
Yeah.
I think that was more of a SOD. Kill yourself, kill yourself. Why don't you kill yourself?
Yeah.
What are they saying?
Channeling the SOD. Beautiful.
Brooks, I love it, dude. Come on. That was awesome.
Because it's my show, I'm going to take the first question, actually. You mentioned it, Soya. You're in England. You're not far from Birmingham, where Black Sabbath and Ozzy took the stage for the last time, and they raised millions of dollars for charity. And we're recording this the day that Ozzy's passing was announced. So I wanted to ask you, being a lifelong metal fan, what's your Sabbath Ozzy experience in terms of the music and being around for them in their salad days?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I was around for the salad days. I think I got into Black Sabbath around the Mob Rules moment,
Oh, nice.
which was Dio in the band. And obviously, my beginnings of Ozzydom was Diary of a Madman and Blizzard of Oz, because that was pretty hip and happening and metal, and parents hated it, so I loved it. I only was around Ozzy really close once. I never actually met him. I went to an Ozzy show to go hang out with Mike Borden from Faith No More, was the drummer at the time, obviously. He did 15 years with Ozzy.
Right.
And me and Ozzy passed each other as I was walking down the hall to Mike's dressing room to go hang out with my friend, but I have never actually met Ozzy in person, but very much loved Black Sabbath. Once I got into Black Sabbath, man, it was like, whoa, this is some crazy shit. It was scary, being young, and you hear that early gothic stuff it was trippy, man, and I loved it. And you have to go back in the catalog. It's not like we got to go down and buy Volume 4 the day it came out,
Right.
Which, so, it's like, with like some bands, you discover them way into it and then you go back. And like, I don't think I was even aware that Ozzy was in Black Sabbath when I first heard Mob Rules, because it was also new when I was like 13 years old or 12 years old or whatever. Man, yeah, I have all that stuff, dude. I love all the Black Sabbath, I mean, it's unbelievably killer. And then close connection I did get to work with Tommy Aldridge was cool.
Right.
Which he was the drummer for Ozzy's Blizzard of Oz back then. Was an honor to be that. That was a facet closer to Ozzy.
For sure.
But I was unable to do that Primus tour. They did the Oz Fest with Brain on drums. That was for Anti-Pop.
Yes.
And I was not on that one. I ended up skipping out on Primus for a while right then. So I missed that one, which I know those guys had really fun time with Ozzy on that. Les talks great of those days.
Did you ever meet or get close to Tony or Bill or Geezer?
Oh, actually, I was doing the Jerry Cantrell solo tour, Degradation Trip, back in 2000, maybe 2001. We had a day off in Philly, and the Ozfest was in Philly out at the Shed, the amphitheater. And of course, Jerry made one phone call to Sharon, and we all went over there and got in for free, hung out in the back, and stood on stage and watched Black Sabbath. And Bill Ward was actually the drummer. So that was the only time I've ever actually seen Black Sabbath live.
Oh, right.
Which was that very 25 years ago, was like a later Black Sabbath,
Right.
So it was still good, we stood on Geezer Butler's side of the stage, and he was just face melting playing, like that was an incredible sight to see, being that close to him.
Great stuff. Yeah. Of course, Ozzy's a powerhouse, and all those guys are. So wanted to ask you about that.
It's undeniable, man,
Let's dig into some Primus stuff and some Soya stuff. Our first question is a voicemail from Charlene.
So I heard you guys were doing another Q&A with Soya. So, Tim, you've had a front row seat to the rhythm section of Primus for years. With a new drummer now in the fold, have you noticed any shifts, subtle or otherwise, in how the band interacts or plays together? And what stood out to you so far? Now, this is in regards to Jonathan Hoffman. I loved watching the Interstellar Drum Derby episodes. I was so happy when I saw the John Hoffman episode. I was in tears. I literally cried, tears of joy. That man, there's just something about him, and I'm sure you spent some time with him. Yeah, I just would like to hear your take on Mr. Jonathan Hofferman. I was just front row for Primus in Michigan. It was a great time, and it was fucking awesome to see how he jived with Les and Lair. It was just unbelievable. All right, you guys have a good one. Oh, and it's Charlene from Canada, in case you didn't know.
Well, Charlene, I will tell you, It was quite an experience. I know everybody saw the episodes, and well, John Hoffman got picked, man. I mean, we went through the ringer on trying to find somebody. It was incredible, that whole scene and that whole thing. Obviously, everybody just got a very small slice of what actually all went down over those 3 months. But yeah, from the moment we got past that final moment of him and Gergo, and it was like literally less than 2 weeks later, he came right back and they went to it, and I had to be there for that too. And sit next to him and with him and the kid after I built it for him, and they got to it, and it was incredible. I mean, it took some time. It's hard for anybody to step into a new band like that. I mean, even though he was uber fan and knew everything, it's still, once you're in that microscope of a situation, he had to learn a lot. I mean, that's why Les had me there, was to really help ease the pain of him having to really knuckle down and get it all figured out. And it's amazing. You saw it live. I haven't seen him live with the band other than the Dominican Republic thing, as my work has taken me away. I did not see the Sasanta trip, and they're out right now. The one you saw, haven't seen any of that. Will not see any of this leg as well. But I've seen lots of videos, and man, I've talked to Les plenty. I've talked to Lur. They are like just freaking out, energized, and I think it shows. And everybody's videos I've seen posted and what everybody says they've seen, it's amazing. I think he's brought energy to this band more than anything, and his playing is incredible. Because he's a Primus fan, he's fit into the band like he was in the band, like it seemed like he could have been a drummer in Primus, and like he came back because they needed him again or something, like he really had it going on from the moment he jumped in. So it's been great for everybody.
Those the not so subtle thing I've noticed is that the tempos are really snappy. They are moving these days,
which is great. I think that's kind of where Primus came from as a band, was really pushing and driving and upbeat and in your face and not laid back, which they've kind of got pretty laid back a lot of moments over the years. Not in a bad way. It's just kind of how the progression of their writings went. But yeah, I mean, Hoffer's back there giving it 200% at 200% all the time. So it's jumpy and it's great. That first new song is proof that that's right out of the gate. You're in for some good fun stuff in the future, I think, very soon,
Absolutely. Looking forward to that, of course.
So Tim, you were there for the whole drum off and final rehearsals and the recording of Fentanyl. Long shot question as usual, but would you happen to know who drew that sketch of Les with the perm that they have pasted on the fridge?
Oh, no. That is just some fan art that got handed to somebody somewhere down the line. I don't even know where or what tour that came from. It's just some random stuff that came out of a road case when we got back to the dairy, and someone hung it up because it was funny.
So it's not recent. Okay.
Yeah, it caught our attention big time.
Big time.
We watched it, yeah.
That's probably something that somebody handed one of the crew guys and said, "Get my art to Les. I drew this for him." And it's like, okay. I mean, you get that every show, or not every show, but all the time. People want to give you shit, and I always used to do that. Kids would hand the shit, and I would show the band, or I'd hang it up at the rehearsal room if it was really dumb or funny, or dumbly funny.
Well, if you draw him in the perm phase, it's gonna get people's attention because that's the best Les hair.
Well, it's a very interesting look that Les had for a minute there. We all enjoyed all the pokes we could get at him for the afro as best we could without pissing him off. But when I came into the dairy, they had already established themselves there because I was out on tour. Like, obviously, Les was telling me about they bought it, and I went there after they had kind of moved in, and that was already on the fridge, and I laughed out loud, because Les knows I was there for that afro moment.
Yes.
Oh boy. To answer your question, I have absolutely no idea who drew that, and I don't even know if anybody knows who drew that. If you want to find out, that would be something to ask the ether in the Primus world. Maybe somebody remembers who it is, or maybe the dude will hear this episode and know.
Yeah, just come out. I drew that. Our next question is from a friend of the pod, Sam Stewart, who texted and asked, what was the process for building Hoffer's Sasanta kit?
That was a ground up build. First thing that I did when Hoffer got the gig, before he even started rehearsing with the band, is we started getting endorsements lined up to get a gear. Because obviously he lives in Louisiana, way out there. And we figured he's just got his kit that he's had forever, which is the truth.
Yeah.
So I got on the horn with drum reps and drum peoples after asking him what brands he wanted to maybe try to get. And we got a brand new everything for him. Was cool. So Easy found out what he wanted, the 3 toms, the floor tom. We had to do the boom kick. We did the floor tom on the left for the Grapevine and a couple other songs. And then he wanted cymbals of this types and blah, blah, blah. So basically everything got ordered. The kit was DW, and it all came in a pile of boxes, brand new, all wrapped up. And it's basically, it probably took over a week to get it finally together to where it was everything that you see. I think I got half of pretty much it set up loosely, and then he showed up, and he came in a day early, and me and him sat there for a day, wiggling and moving and getting it set how he wanted.
Yeah.
I had an idea because we had already had the rental kit set up for the tryout. If you remember in the videos where him and Gergo were there.
Oh, that was a rental. Okay.
Yeah, because the only kit that's there is there's one little dinky kit of Les's, which was not adequate for a Primus drum tryout. So I had brought in a rental kit, or had a rental kit delivered and set that all up. And so, obviously John wiggled it around how he kind of wanted it. I had pictures. So it took less than a week, and it was up and ready to go. And then a day with John, and away we went,
Right on. And you did all those phone calls to DW, Aquarian, Vader, Sabian, and so on, right?
Yep. I got all that. Well, he did the Sabian thing because I didn't have a contact at Sabian. We got a contact through friends of mine, and he contacted the dude. The dude had already contacted him. There was a couple companies immediately reached out.
Oh.
Instagram messages or whatever, just to try to get their foot in the door, to get their product into his world. So I'm pretty sure that's how he hooked up with Sabian guy pretty quickly. And I got in touch with the guy through my friends, and that happened. But yeah, I knew the DW guy. I'm endorsed by Vader and Aquarian, so I easily got him onto that stuff, which he was super happy about it anyways, so.
Excellent.
Yeah, it went pretty smooth, man. And that kit is incredible. Factoid, DW could not get a custom kit built for John, like lickety split, because he wanted a custom color and blah, blah, blah. The kit that he's playing now, he used it on Sasanta, and he used it on the tour they're out with right now, is a prototype kit of a DW kit that's available now, that's got aluminum ply in the middle of the plies of the drum.
Yes.
So it's like
he mentioned
3 plies
that.
of wood, 1 ply of aluminum, and 3 more plies of wood. And
right.
It was the only thing that our guy at DW had sitting around that they could part with that was exactly what we needed, and minus the boom kick. So he gave it to us to use, which we did. And then we said, hey, we're going to take this on the tour, and Les really likes it. Would you sell it? And he said, let me talk to the boss. And he came right back, said, yeah, he says, you can have it. We don't care. So they sold it to Primus. They own that kit.
Wow.
So a kit has been being made ever since that moment, of the same kind of shell system, but it's going to be in a custom color, which I'm not going to reveal. John will reveal that when it happens.
Oh, and he should. That connects some dots for me, because on his Modern Drummer rig rundown, he mentioned that the kit he's currently playing on tour is going to live at the dairy.
Correct.
And then, he's getting a new one that's similar, but I'm sure has a few
yeah, it's going to be
features.
it's going to be the exact same kit.
Okay.
Only just a different color, basically.
Oh, right on.
So the idea was Les wants to have a John Hoffer kit set up with mics always at the
nice.
dairy.
Awesome.
So since John lives in Louisiana, he can just fly out, and it's not like I have to go down there and set up a drum set and we have to mic it and get it all ready. It's just going to be like he can show up, turn on the machine, and we can hit record, and they can just.
That is fantastic.
That's
fantastic news.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and then the drum kit that he's playing now, the shell is made out of cherry wood.
Yes.
And the one that he's getting for himself for after is going to be made out of maple. So that way we'll have two completely different style shell composites for sound, whatever. So
two distinct kits. That'll be great.
Yeah, but the one cherry one is owned by Primus, and that will be set up 24/7 all year round at Primusville.
On-demand drumming.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty great idea.
Excellent. Our next question is somewhat related. And Ryan Rashawn asks via text, were you on the calls with Les and Lur when they were making their decision about drummers, or was it more after the drummers left the audition? And I know that there's limitations to what you can reveal in that regard.
No, I mean, I can reveal that obviously Les has said it. I watched every single video that was emailed to us, and Lur watched probably 75 to 80% of them. Like he just didn't have time some days because of all that was going on.
Yeah.
In his life, I don't think his house had burned down yet at that point. That hadn't happened, but he just, he's got his shit going on. So there was some nights he just couldn't get to it. And if we didn't attack it every single night, if you waited 2 or 3 days, which we had done a few times in the beginning, all of a sudden there's like 800 emails you'd have to go through. And it literally would, I'd spend 3, 4, sometimes 6 hours and get through 500 emails, because you got to open them, you got to read them. If there's video, you got to get it to play, you got to watch it. I mean, it was a very time consuming process. So Lur watched pretty much all of them. And then we would have a system where we would, earmark them. Ones that were really, really good, and ones that were pretty good, and ones that were like funny. And then there was, obviously there's ones that were no. And so all the really, really good ones we'd filter through Les every couple of days, and then we'd all have a call together and talk about it. And as it got closer and closer, and it got down to all 3 of us and Brad Sands would kind of made the decision on who the finals were. And then when we went down and did the actual tryouts in LA, after each performance, Les and Larry would go in private, and that's where you would see them sitting on the couch talking, like in the Derby videos.
Yeah.
And then Lur and Les would just be sitting there just talking about how the experience was with each drummer. I wasn't sitting there in for that. That was like just them, and Agent O would do that, and Cage would film. But yeah, when it got right down to it, yeah, I was definitely right there at the moment, up to the Gergo moment. And, they didn't tell me who they were going to pick over Gergo or Hoffman, but I was definitely there right up to the exact moment when we all went down to the
follow up
station.
On that, did certain people who were present have input into the choice, or was it pretty much all?
No, it was between Les and Larry. Ultimately, I was kind of like the third wheel, but not ultimate decision maker. I was heavily leaned upon for influence and opinion, however you want to describe it, but it was ultimately up to Les and Larry. And me and Brad were kind of the other two included in opinions up to the very final moment. Me is more so because I've been around the goddamn band since the 80s, and through every facet is why Les had me involved, because I kind of knew what it had to be. It was really easy for me to know who was not going to fit in with just watching videos.
For sure. Well, it's really great that you had a voice in the conversation. Certainly.
Yeah, it's a very honorable position to be in. It was the first
Yeah.
time I'd ever done anything like that, and I was glad it was Primus, because I do know so much goddamn about it and about what the drumming situation's been for 35 years or 40 years, however long it's been.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Thanks for some of those details. Yeah.
Tim, did you ever get angry watching the videos because people were not paying attention whatsoever to the cues that Les provided?
yes.
I got angry myself.
I will tell you a funny story. I'm not going to reveal anything dumb, but it was frustrating at times. When you got to sit there for 4 hours for I think we went almost 7 weeks before I finally said, dude, if people are repeating, sending in, it's like, we have to stop. We found enough dudes that are really fucking good, and enough is enough. But it started wearing on my family, sitting there on my computer for 4 hours at the kitchen table and screaming and yelling at the screen. And God damn it, fucking play something that's not Jerry Was a Race Car Driver. Anybody can play that goddamn song. It's like, dude, okay, you've got a dildo strapped to your head and you're playing Jerry Was a Race Car Driver. It's like, that's when, me and Larry started getting frustrated because there was no guideline at first, which was cool. A lot of people just sent in really cool shit, and on top of everything. But, when you get through 1,000 videos in a few days and 75% of them is dudes in their bedroom playing Jerry Was a Race Car Driver, it's like, then finally Les is like, okay, let me do another thing. And that's when he put out that, hey, okay, you can play Primus. What else can you do? Send some other stuff in. We really want to see what you can do. Obviously, if you're trying out for Primus, you can play Primus, So I wouldn't say getting mad. It's just getting frustrated. Like I wanted a lot of dudes that were really good to do more of what they could do,
Right.
And it would be, some dudes would send in 10 full song video clips of them playing Primus songs. And it's
Wow.
like,
All right.
I mean,
yeah.
send me 2 clips of that. I mean, I would only watch 2 bits of that. And then it's like, you look through the list and that's it. It's like 10 Primus songs. It's like, okay, next. It's like, I can't sit here and wade through every minute of every Primus song 1 out of 6,000 dudes plays, sends in. So it was difficult and frustrating in that sense, but obviously it's what we asked for,
Yeah.
Anybody out there, send us some videos. I mean, we got what we asked for, and it was a lot of work, but I stuck it out, went through every single one of those goddamn things because everybody deserved a fair shake. Like Lur said that in one of the interviews. He tried to not watch them all, but it got to the end where he just shit was going on. He just couldn't watch every single one every single night. So, I did.
Thanks for that. Our next question is from the young man who wrote that beautiful song for you, Soya. So here's a question from Brooks.
Soya,
Okay.
this is Mr. Brooks' Delight. I caught a pic from one Mr. Lur Lalone back on the Naugahyde tour, and the pic was like the same color green as the cover of the album, and it had some words inscribed on it. Those words were salami tits. It had the word salami tits on the pic. And I was wondering if you might be able to shed some light on why the pic had those words on it. Was it some kind of inside joke? I'm assuming it was. Yeah, if you could let me know what's up with salami tits.
You got me on that one. That is actually something that goes on in the rock and roll world with guitar players, like to be very inside joke and crafty with their picks. I know that for a fact because I have a whole bowl of them from every genre of musicians I've been around. I try to always collect those. Salami Tits is a good one. I have not seen that one. I've seen some Naugahyde picks that have the little dude on the trike, or the little bicycle. I think is the one that's been pretty much the main one. I'm going to ask Laura about that one. I'll get back to you. I will find out about that. But that could just be some random funny joke that came up and Laura put it on his pick. I don't know.
That'll be some miscellaneous debris for a future episode that I will be very excited to report back on.
Yeah, my favorite pick that I have, I think, of all the ones, There was a dude that was a guitar tech for the Rolling Stones. What was his name? I can't remember because I was around the Rolling Stones with Sheryl Crow for a bunch of stuffs. And those guys would always give us picks and set lists or whatever the heck if we wanted it. Never got a drumstick, though, from Charlie. I did get to meet him. The dude was like, would come up with funny shit. And Eric Clapton he was Clapton's guy, so Clapton had funny ones. Some of the Stones guys had them. But one of the ones, I think it was one he gave or he came up with for Clapton, or it was either Clapton or Keith Richards, was burnt snorkel. And that's what it had, the Rolling Stones tongue, and you flipped it over, it said burnt snorkel. There was that one, and the other one was it's all gone tits up was another one. So salami tits, man. Yeah, that's a good one. I will ask Larry that one soon because I'd like to know what the salami tits story is myself. So if I figure it out, I'll tell Josh, and he can bring it up in a miscellaneous debris in a future episode. We'll figure that one out. We'll get to that one. Put that one on hold.
Happy to solve that mystery. The next question is a text question from friend of the pod, Gene Meyer, who asked, why did Primus never release an actual live album? I know you guys had mentioned there were plans to do one around 95, 96, and it got scrapped, but I was wondering why. And that's a great question from Gene, because we got just a killer live cut of Duchess recently. That's the B-side to Little Lord Fentanyl, and that just whetted my appetite for a live release.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Over the years, we recorded tons of stuff. I mean, there are B-sides, bonus tracks, live from here, live from there. Frankie probably knows about the official release ones, of course, or around. Why there was not an official live album? Maybe the fact that Suck on This came out live out the gate. Les is like, fuck that, I don't want to do a live album ever again. You know? I don't know.
Could be.
Actually, I wanted to.
Actually,
yeah, I wanted to highlight something that Les himself told us during our Bucket of Brilliant Brains chat, because we did bring up the live stuff, and he said that some live stuff is there waiting to be released, but he just doesn't get around to it. I think he feels bored going back. He has to sit through shows, he has to pick songs, and I think it's just not appealing enough for him. He has other things on his plate, and he's more excited about doing new things. So that's why live releases keep getting stalled.
I can totally understand that. Yeah. I mean, I know how Les gets busy with all of his bands and all of his projects. That's time consuming. Mm-hmm. It's like trying to find a new drummer and asking the world to send in your videos. It's like it takes time, man. They did that live hallucinogenics thing, though, right?
Yeah, hallucinogenics, absolutely.
And that did really well. Sold 1 million copies. I mean, that's not a live album. I mean, I guess it kind of is.
I'll call it a live release. Sure.
I think it's interesting that the first thing that's come out from Hoffman after Fentanyl was a live cut of Duchess got released is cool.
Definitely.
So, I mean, that shows you right there that Les is interested in everybody hearing them with Hoffer, how killer it is, you know, and how much he's enjoying it. He wants everyone to hear it live, not just that little recording, you know. I mean, who knows when they're going to be able to get in to write and make a whole new record. So what better way than to go check this out, you know? And the cool thing was that they did Duchess, which is the one song that Hoffer was the only one that picked in the week in LA of tryouts.
Became a signature too.
Yeah, there was 2 spots on, like, the set list was
right.
Whatever, there was 4 songs that everybody had to play. Then there was the last 2 slots were you pick the song. Right. And one was Duchess or
I think Salmon
Last Salmon Man, and then Tommy or
Jerry.
Something. Jerry, correct. Hoffman was the only one that picked Duchess. And so that, it struck Les as not odd, but as cool. You know, that meant that, okay, well, this dude's like thinking outside everybody's going to pick the regular songs, So I thought that was really cool that got released, and I heard it, Les sent it to me immediately after they started mixing it, and I was like, dude, that's fucking amazing, man. Like that dude is on the path, man.
Yeah.
To some killer Primus right here. So yeah.
That could grease the wheels for a future live release.
Could, it definitely could. Again, it boils down to Les and Lur having the time to sift through it, pick a show, or have to listen to a bunch of shows and pick it,
Yeah, I'd lean on Matt Weiniger for that mixing again, because that recording sounds
Matt's
fucking
great.
standing.
Grammy winning
producer Matt Weiniger. Who would have known?
I remember after he won his first Grammy, he was there at that Beanpole show at the Fillmore, right, Frankie?
Yep. Yeah, we hung out with him. It was life-changing.
And it was right after he won that first Grammy, and the first thing I asked him when we started chatting, I was like, dude, so is your phone just like ringing off the hook now? Are you Grammy Award-winning legend? And he's like, nope, actually it's not. He's like, you would think, but it's not ringing any more than it was before I won a Grammy, so there you go.
About B.
I think he's won 2 now, hasn't he?
He's got 2 now, yeah.
Yeah.
He's well on his way to a 3rd if he does a Primus live record. No
See, now we're talking. I think not only was Primus up for the Winona's Big Brown Beaver Grammy, but Jason Mills was up for a Grammy for the surround sound.
Yes,
Seas of Cheese surround sound as
correct. Well. Yes, 5.1 mixing. They were nominated, indeed. I don't remember who won it, but I know they were nominated.
Yeah, probably that was the year the U2 album came out on everybody's phone. I'm not sure.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
All right. Our next question is an interesting one.
Hello, Tim Soya and Primus Tracks. I'll just identify myself as Mega Kung Fu Radio, as my Instagram name is. My question is there any real lyrics to the Pork Soda song off the album Pork Soda? And will they ever be revealed? Just ask Mr. Claypool. Okay, that's it.
This is
so. Wait a second.
Yep.
Wait a second. Is there any real lyric? Isn't that he sings a bunch of cornball stuff in that, doesn't he? About
a lot of train of thought thing. Yeah.
Yes, and those words are not printed in the booklet.
That might be what he's getting at. I wasn't around at the Pork Soda recordings. They did that at Ultrasound with Derek Featherstone.
Right.
And I was on tour with Victim's Family at the time when they did that. So I wasn't part of that recording process or writing process. I can't answer that question in a sense of I don't know what the words are to begin with. And number 2, who knows what that means or what that's about, what Les is talking about. I don't know. He's has that kind of thing up his sleeve all the time, so.
Yeah, I do. I would recommend that anybody that wants to try to transcribe them to hunt down the Fromage or Hallucinogenetics performances, those soundboards, because the vocals are a little bit easier to hear than they are on the record. I don't think I've tried ever to transcribe.
Frankie, you don't have that transcribed somehow?
We don't have the Pork Soda lyrics or the Green Ranger ones for that matter. Those are 2 songs that stand out in that sense, that there are some parts that we still don't know what Les is saying to this day.
Yeah. And those legal pads are going to be the ones Frankie looks for when he breaks into the dairy and is rifling through
the infamous
file
yellow legal pads that I know where they're at.
Yeah.
I see where this is going.
Yeah. Can you drop a pin on Google Maps for Frankie? He'd appreciate it.
Next time I'm at Rancho Relaxo, if I can remember.
Oh,
well, that could be one of the great mysteries of Primus,
yes.
that will never get resolved unless Les actually divulges what he's actually saying. I don't know.
It's some of these questions I think are better left unanswered.
Well, they're good questions. I love deep questions that even stump me, being so close. Like there's things that not even I know.
Maybe you'll know the answer to this next question from our pal Sachko.
Hey Soya, Sachiko here. First of all, I just want to thank you for that time in New Orleans during the Wonka tour. You hooked me up with some Primus set lists and a drumstick. Thank you very much. Here's my question for you. I am curious if you know anything about Les's cat, Aloysius, the cat mentioned in Nature Boy. Thanks.
Man. Lyrical explanations. Well, before I answer the question, I will say, of course, it's a pleasure to hand fans sticks and picks and set lists. Is one of my favorite things to do as an employee of bands. I love to take care of the fans, so you're very welcome on that one. Ask me anytime if you know I'm around. I will always hand that stuff out. As far as the lyrics to Nature Boy, first of all, I don't know if I could even answer that one either. But Frankie, can you tell me what she's talking about? Can you read the line? I'm not.
I can tell you what it is. The lyric is, I have my kitty. His name is Aloysius. I stroke him.
Stroke him, stroke him, stroke him.
Yeah. So is that a fictional cat or is that a real cat that Les had around the house?
I know that the actual cat that they had for a while was called Hannibal, I think. And he had an Instagram page.
Was that recent though? Because I know his daughter had cats.
That was a while ago. Lena used to post on that page, but
that would have been a later cat of Lena.
Yeah,
she had cats always.
But I've never heard about Aloysius being like an actual thing.
If you go back to Pork Soda, let's think about this. That would be when Les was living in Berkeley with Cheney, pre-kids. I'd only been to that house a couple times. It's where they recorded the Sausage record, actually. I wouldn't know if they had cats. That would be a Les question. That goes beyond me. That's another lyrical stuff is, as you all know, Les is really private about singing around people in the studio and divulging any lyrics, even to me, even if I ask about it. I think the one time I only asked him about lyrics point blank, because I was unaware that he's very tight-lipped about it, was I asked him about Nut Butter when we were recording Punch Bowl. I was like perplexed that I was like, are you, because I'm hearing him, we're mixing it or we're recording it. I wasn't there when he sang it, but all of a sudden one day they're singing that we're overdubbing guitars to. It's like, oh, you did okay. And so I'm like listening to it, and I asked him, like, well, what the fuck does this song mean? Who the fuck is Professor Nut Butter? And so we were shooting pool in the other room, and he kind of explained it to me and about the inchworm and all that. And I was like, Les Claypool, right? Okay. Why am I asking him? It's not going to ever make sense, So I do not know what about the cat Aloysius. That would be a Les question. Let's put that in the bucket of questions for miscellaneous debris. And if I can remember to ask Les next time I talk to him, I'll see if I can get it out of him when we're sitting around having a beer, fishing or something.
There we go. The next question is about drums, so I think you'll have an answer.
Hello, this is Val in LA. I was just wondering, Mr. Soya, if you came out of the womb with 2 drumsticks in your hands. And if that wasn't exactly the case, I was wondering what little Timmy Soya was exposed to when he was just a wee lad. Were you watching variety shows? Did your parents play good music? Were they trying to make you learn recorder in school? Or were you just always hardcore?
I would love to see little Timmy Soya, 4th grade, rocking the recorder.
Okay, question 1. No, I did not come out of the womb with drumsticks in my hand. I actually got exposed to music through my parents, of course. Was pretty tepid at best. Fleetwood Mac Rumors and Hotel California and baloney pants like that, Steely Dan, which was okay. There was a moment in my life when I was very young. I remember we went to some picnic kind of thing, like a public picnic in the park, barbecue or something, and there was a band was going to play, and there was a drum set up, and I just was gravitated to it and went over, and this dude was doing some announcing about a raffle or some bullshit. I was really little. I can't remember how old I was.
Okay.
And I was sitting at the drums and I wanted to play, and I knew the dude was talking, but I couldn't help tinkering on the drums, tapping him. And the guy stopped what he was saying, said, okay, I guess this little kid over here wants to play the drums. What do you got, kid? And oh shit. And so I swatted at the drums, and like that was the moment I went, okay, I'm going to be a drummer. That was killer. That's where it started. But then ironically, when I got into 6th grade, they offered music class. Go down and check out all the instruments. And obviously they had snare drum with 2 sticks and saxophones and flutes and trumpets and blah. And for whatever reason, the girl that was asked before me, what do you want to play? And she picked the snare drum. So she got the drum, and I had to pick something else. So I picked the trumpet.
Ah, yes.
So in 6th grade, I played the trumpet. In 7th grade, my mom made me join the band to play the trumpet. And being in the band and looking to my right and seeing the drum section and the 2 dudes playing snare drum and bass drum and percussion were fucking off the whole time with drumsticks in their hands, and they were blowing into a piece of metal, I said, this is fucking bullshit. I'm going to be a drummer. I've always wanted to be a drummer. Why am I playing this trumpet? And now that's where it became a reality.
Wow.
I stopped band after that, got a drum set, and then got into high school, and then got coerced into getting into the marching band, and it really went uphill from there. Downhill. All just drums, band.
Those marching band guys are intense. The snares, the quints. Good Lord, those guys are into
it. Yeah. I played crash cymbals for my freshman year. My buddy just forced me to do it because he knew I wanted to be a drummer. I was really shy about it. And then the potential of me drumming impressed the dudes, and a bunch of the snare drum guys graduated, and I moved on to the snare drum. So for 3 years, I played snare drum in the marching band. And then, of course, I was in every other band I could possibly squeeze into my lineup of classes, to the point where my mom said, you cannot take any more band classes. You need to take algebra, and you need to take typing. You can't just be in 8 band classes, which made no sense to me. Why? They offer it. I'm taking it. That's all I want to do. So, of course, I got my heavy metal buddies. We had a satanic heavy metal band. It was great. On the heels of Slayer had just come out right then, and nobody knew who they were, so we wanted to be like them.
Hell yeah.
Metallica, and they were all demo tape bands that I had discovered. So we were trying to be the heaviest satanic band you could imagine without even knowing what that meant. It was great.
That'll take you places.
Yeah. Look at me now.
Look at me. 5 a.m.
Did I answer the question? Hold on. What was her actual question about me drumming?
Those what you were exposed to and how you got into it. You answered it beautifully.
All right. Yeah. My upbringing of music was kind of weird. I got into buying records as a kid for sure. Unfortunately, at that age of discovering music, the big fad at the moment was disco. So,
oh no.
Everybody can diss on disco. I mean, I can say disco sucks like, everybody else did. But at the same time, we didn't know any better, in a sense that Saturday Night Fever was the hottest movie on the planet at that moment. And the Bee Gees soundtrack was the hottest shit and on the radio at the moment. So we all thought that was cool to like disco. Well, unbeknownst to us, there was another band that was way eviler and crazy that we discovered through the older brother route, which is the best route to discover the heaviest, hardest stuff, was Kiss.
Oh, yeah.
So then we went, wait a second, why are we listening to disco when there's Kiss? So we went nose deep into Kiss, only to discover they released a disco song suddenly. I Was Made for Loving You.
I forgot about that one.
So we started to question Kiss and what could be heavier. And we turned to my older brother, who was listening to Led Zeppelin and Ted Nugent and the likes. So that got me away from Kiss and disco, and then got into the heavier stuffs. And then, of course, we heard Rush Moving Pictures around 1980.
Oh, boom.
And
yeah,
that's when everything changed. And then, of course, on the heels of that, or just 2 steps past that, we discovered Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast.
Oh, geez.
And that's where the heavy metal turn came. So that's when I got into the hard heavy metal stuff, and that type of drumming was the best ever.
You that progression, like you were on a road that you were never going to leave it.
Yeah. Yeah,
great
it
road
was
to be
funny.
on.
And then so, being super into all that drumming and in a silly band playing double bass and trying to be heavy. And I never took lessons. So, I just, emulated and tried to be as badass as I could. But I had rhythm and I could play. So it was decent. I mean, I can at least say I was decent.
Yeah.
But then, of course, everybody just started discovering the metal, not just me turning people onto it in the smoking section at high school. And then next thing you know, all these dickheads that, thought I was a punk and a dipshit would bully me because I had long hair and listened to Metallica, who nobody knew who they were. All of a sudden, all these guys were wearing Metallica Master of Puppets t-shirts because they discovered Metallica now. That was cool. So I took a right turn at that because then I had met friends and started getting into punk rock, the Dead Kennedys and Suicidal and DRI and bands like that. And that's when I met the Victims Family guys. And then they opened my eyes up to a whole nother plethora of music that I was unaware of, which is where I got away from. That's right when the hairball metal started. I can't even call it metal. The LA hairball, the Poisons and all that stuff, So I went into the punk side of things. And that's when I really discovered really cool shit drumming. No Means No. And,
hell yeah.
Bands like, obviously the Dead Kennedys are pretty insane, but, the independent alternative thing was all still underground at that point. And that's where I was really striving to be, was underground, and not MTV as far as what I listened to and what I wanted to be as a musician. So, and Primus, of course, fell right into that category. Right at that moment is when I discovered Primus. And, having seen Curveball one time, the next time I saw him was Jay Lane, and it was just face melting, like that. There it is. That's it. It was like when I heard Moving Pictures the first time, you're just like, holy shit, there it is. So
a revelation, an epiphany.
If that's any kind of timeline of my drumming influences, there you go.
That's a great one. A lot of great annotations there. We're going to go from drumming to skateboarding.
Hey, greetings, Primus Tracks. This is Ben Cabriana calling in from Santa Maria, California. Got a couple questions here for you, Soya. I've been skateboarding on the Central Coast for about 30 years now, and I feel like the first time I ever heard Primus was because of Plan B Skateboard's Questionable video that came out in 1992. The intro song that was used for that video was Los Bastardos, and then it was followed by Marin County legend Pat Duffy using Tommy the Cat. I don't know if they got the rights to use those songs back in the early 90s, but that's sort of besides the point right now. Pat is probably the reason why a lot of skateboarders are huge Primus fans. And I know that I've seen footage of him backstage at a lot of shows throughout the years. He was a skateboarder that had some clips in the DMV music video. But as somebody that loves Pat and loves skateboarding and loves Primus, I think it's pretty cool. And I was wondering if you had any experience of meeting Pat Duffy, or if you have any stories about him, or if you have any skateboarding experience yourself. That last story that you told about taking the blame for Brain when you guys went to the DC factory, that kind of cracks me up. I know that Lur still wears DCs, and I don't know if he still gets on a skateboard or not, but I thought it was pretty cool, and I was really curious. Quick question. When Soya needs a beer, what kind of style of beer do you like? What's your favorite kind of beer? Let me know. Maybe we can have one sometime. Thanks, guys. Keep it up. Peace.
Skateboarding and beer.
All right. I can answer these questions. Well, let's start with the skateboarding thing. The absolute reason for the Pat Duffy connection is Larry Lalonde used to date Pat Duffy's sister, Karen Duffy. Back in the old days, back when he first joined Primus, that wasn't the girlfriend when he joined Primus, but very shortly after he got together with Karen. They were together for a very long time. So Pat Duffy was around, of course, always hung out with Pat Duffy, and Lur was a big skateboarder. I was a skateboarder till I started drumming, and I stopped because I hurt my wrist skateboarding one time when I had a gig. So I pretty much gave up skateboarding like on the spot because drumming was more important than me getting injured skateboarding. Yeah. But yeah, Lur always supported Pat Duffy, and when he put that video out, he obviously wanted to use the Primus music because Primus was still up and coming at that point. And of course they said yes, because it's, good advertisement to get them out there with a crowd of kids that already really were into Primus. So Yeah, and had many times having beers and hanging out with Pat Duffy. He's a really cool dude. I actually saw him not too long ago. It was really weird. The last time I did see him was on Duo to Twang. This is a funny, actual weird story. Me and Jason Mills were driving from the Bay Area down to do the very first Duo to Twang show on the run that we were starting, which was West Coast. And the first show was at a place called the Belly Up Tavern, which you might know, in Solana Beach, which is just north of Santa Barbara, I believe, or it's between Santa Barbara and LA. I can't remember exactly where it's at. As we were driving down there, we were talking about stupid shit, and for some reason I pondered in my head, something came up in my brain about Pat Duffy, and I was like, when you're driving down I-5 for 5 hours, you just sit there and think about dumb shit. You run out of stuff to talk to with the other dude in the truck. So you're thinking about stuff. One of the things that randomly came up in my mind was Pat Duffy. And I was like, oh man, I have not seen Pat Duffy in years. I can't even remember. Whatever, go on to the next thing. We get to the Belly Up. We do the fucking show. It was totally hilarious, totally sold out. Of course, like whatever, 800 kids crammed into some little bar, some big bar. We get done. Loadout took about 15 minutes. Grab some beers. We're standing around the back and fucking turn around, and Pat Duffy is fucking standing there. What's up, Soya? I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I told him the story that what I just said, and he's just like, of course he didn't believe me, because everybody says that when you see somebody you haven't seen in a long time. Yeah. I was just thinking about you, dude. But it actually happened, which is really weird. I'm the only one that will know that it's the actual truth. But yeah, I do see Pat now and again. That's the last time. When was that? Shit, 10 years ago, right? I haven't seen him since then.
Wow.
Maybe he was at a New Year's show. I can't remember. But
that's a pretty cool premonition, though. And then he's there.
And he was standing there, and we stood there laughing, talking, having a beer, catching up. It was cool. Yeah, he's a really cool dude. And number 2 question, what is my favorite beer? I like regular old beer, as me and Kehoe like to call it, lawnmower beer. Kind of beer you go out and sit on the lawnmower for an afternoon and drink beer the whole time and not get too messed up. So Miller High Life is one of my favorites. I've been known to put back the old Budweisers is fine.
There you go.
But yeah, anything just regular old beer. Modelo Especials became the Budweiser of the 2200s or 2020s, so that's been in the fridge quite often in the last 8 years. Just because it's everywhere in every store, but Miller High Life is my favorite. How about that?
Right on. My grandfather had a Miller High Life with dinner every night for the last 40 years of his life.
Legendary.
You bet.
Yes, of course we'll have a beer. If there's a chance, any beer is fine. I'll choke an IPA down if that's all there is, but I don't like them. How about that?
Ben's buying.
Yeah. Well, you go to a bar and all I got is IPA. I don't say no, I'll drink an IPA. But I prefer beer. Lager, Pilsner. Kolsch is my favorite.
Beautiful Kolsch, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Especially in the hot summer.
Oh, man, it's the best. Especially in the morning. Sun's coming up, crack a Kolsch, sitting in the garden, watering. Nothing beats it, man.
That's the Soya life. The next question is actually 2 questions from our pal Johnny Perona. And I'm letting him get away with 2 questions because he calls the first one I know Soya won't answer. And that is, the first one is the band that is referenced in Year of the Parrot, the Beastie Boys?
Is that the one he thinks I won't answer?
Yes.
Well, I know the answer to that. The lyrics of that song spawned out of a conversation lesson I had, actually. I'll tell you what I like to call that band, and you can make your assumptions past that. How about that?
Okay.
We usually refer to the band as...
I got some ideas.
I'm not going to out and out say it, but I think you should be able to figure it out by that one.
Right on. The second one is, I seem to recall Soya mentioning that he works in a coffee shop when he isn't on tour. What's your favorite coffee region? I imagine that's sourcing as opposed to drinking.
Well, as coffee fanatical and own a cafe as I am, the roasting process and where the beans come from are not something I pay as much attention to as I do to how the flavors are. I travel around the world and drinking coffee everywhere I go. Obviously, I can't drink the same thing everywhere because I don't go to Starbucks or any of those kind of places. So I'm always on the hunt for cool places that do their own beans or, serve local roasted beans. I like them all as long as they don't taste burnt and they're not like dark roast, So I think the beans we use at our cafe is a place out of Sacramento called Temple Coffee, which is awesome. They don't do dark roast. There are a lot of the roasteries now don't do dark roast. That's kind of a fad that was going around. French dark roast is awful. I don't know if any of you guys like that, but I don't. Glad that one went away. Anyway, so Temple Coffee is super cool. They're my buds now. We sell all kinds of their stuff. The one that we use as espresso, that I bring it out on tours with me. I have a little cafe set up on tour on the side of the stage, is called Dharma, and it's their medium roast espresso. And I'm not sure, they're very heavy on the Latin America, so it's probably a Latin American bean.
Nice.
I could look it up.
Your espresso on tour seems to have garnered a lot of fans from the bands that are on tour.
Yeah. Everybody loves it, man. It's cool. It's fun. It's time consuming, which is cool. Making people coffees is fun. And it's not catering coffee. That's for sure. It's funny because out on here on the tour I'm on currently, they have one of those machines in catering that's, you have the little pod you pop in.
Oh yeah.
Not the Nespresso where it's the little cup of goo. It's like their actual little compressed pods of coffee grounds, and any way you slice and dice any of those machines is garbage, if you ask me.
Right.
So that's why me and drummer dude I work for, we decided to build this cafe so that we could have good coffee. And he's got a setup he has in his room. I have my setup at the gigs. I used to bring it back and forth from my hotel room to the gigs, and I kind of gave up on that because it's just too much carrying around back and forth. So I just go out and find cafes, which I'm very happy every city I'm in. I've got a great cafe right out back of this hotel I found this morning. It's awesome. It's got a little truck. It's got a cafe in the back. We flip up the sides. It's awesome.
That's the secret, is finding good coffee on the road, and you'll be fine.
Yes, and you might have seen my post. I think, Josh, you mentioned it earlier. I found a really great little coffee cart in Wimbledon where we were staying for the last for the first 5 weeks of this trip I was on. So I was going there every day, and they were super cool. I'm going to go back there on Sunday and say hi to my friends because I make friends everywhere I go,
He does. It's true. All right, we got a couple more here. This one might be controversial.
Hello, Soya. I recall that you and Les had a disagreement about the superior sauce that is available at Del Taco. I believe that Les said Del Inferno is superior because it's hotter, but you disagreed because you believed that Del Scorcho was the better sauce since it has a better flavor. I was just wondering if you had come around to the correct decision and embraced the Del Inferno as the superior sauce. Thanks.
Very interesting. You are on the right track, but you're at the wrong restaurant.
What's missing?
The storyline that she has is correct about our disagreement on hot sauces, but it was at Taco Bell. There are not many Del Tacos around Sonoma County, if there even is any. I don't think there is. So if we ever did eat fast food, it was always Taco Bell. We never did the McDonald's. We never did the Jack in the Box or the burger. We might have hit Burger King now and again. Les was all into the Whopper Jr.
Chow the Berg.
Chow that Berg. We used to eat burgers all the time. And in fact, Chow the Berg came from, I think I might have told you guys, you know that story, right? I don't need to tell that. Let's go back to the hot sauce thing. Right near Les's house, there was a Taco Bell. So in the breaks of recording, sometimes we'd go hit Taco Bell, whatever. Every once in a while, dude, we got to hit Taco Bell. Fuck, all right. I always liked the medium Taco Bell hot sauce.
Okay.
Which was fine. I didn't go to Taco Bell to get spicy Mexican food. I just had the flavor of it, I really, really liked. And of course, Les liked the hot. And so he would always give me shit that, dude, it's like you're always getting hot, spicy sauces everywhere we go. Why do you get that medium sauce? Why don't you get the hot? The hot's way better, dude. It's totally spicy. And I had to finally go, dude, I don't want the hot, spicy sauce on my Taco Bell. I like it with the medium. It was like so stupid and trivial, but that's where did you hear about that? Did I tell that story? I must have.
You must have.
Must have been in some Taco Bell something we were talking about, but I do like the hot sauce at Taco Bell. I have eaten Taco Bell maybe 2 or 3 or 4 times in the last 20 years since then. I still get the medium. I do grab a hot and do hot as well. So I have come around. As far as Del Taco is concerned, I might have only been to Del Taco twice in my entire life. And once was recently staying in Burbank at the Marriott that's right across the street from the airport where a lot of crews stay because the rehearsal room that's very popular is right up the street. After hours, after the time of about 8 o'clock, there's no food around there unless you take an Uber out. And if you get so sick of the hotel expense, the only thing right there across the street is a Denny's, a McDonald's, and a Del Taco.
Oh, man.
And one time in the last couple of years, I got to try this Del Taco. I've not had Del Taco in 20 years. And I went and got Del Taco, and I got one of every sauce. Scorcher, you said, and something. I think I tried them all, but the taco was so shitty.
Oh no!
It just wasn't Taco Bell. If I'm going to eat something shitty like that, my mouth wants and my taste buds want Taco Bell. So
yes,
it was underwhelming to say the least.
Gotcha.
So whether I liked or disliked the Scorcher sauce, I can't remember, but I'm sure it was as good as what I was going to get for what I was eating. So
yeah.
You
do make a good point though, because when I go to eat garbage food, it's the garbage food whose taste profile I know, and it's imprinted on me, and it's whatever chemicals they put in it did the job, and I want it, and I don't want any variation. I want the garbage.
I'll tell you, back in the 90s when we toured around Primus, we would hit the McDonald's. Particularly overseas, it's all in the roadie touring world. It was known as the American Embassy. Meant you were going to the McDonald's, right?
That's
because
great.
back in the 90s, it was hard to find good food or English menus, and it was easy to just go to a McDonald's and get a burger and some fries and be done with it, and then you ate. Then you could go drink beer and have food inside you. But I will say, goddamn, a couple times on the Chow That Bird tour area. 90s, you'd go to like a McDonald's in Switzerland or something, and it just was different. It was better. I mean, Pulp Fiction and all. It's all of what John Travolta says. It's different. It's better. There's something about it. I mean, obviously, it's different meat because it's from Europe somewhere, but
McDonald's in Japan is amazing.
And McDonald's in Japan is I don't know if amazing is the word. I think interesting is a better description of it. I've been to Taco Bell in Shibuya now as well. Actually, was interesting. It was more Taco Bell than McDonald's was McDonald's. But yes, I have eaten McDonald's in Japan with the Primus guys in '96 when we were there, and the regular old burgers were great. But they also had the fish burger. They had the burger with the raw fish on it. I mean, they had just bizarre stuffs. Was amazing. We didn't try any of that stuff, but it was available. Still is. Frankie, you been to Japan? Had the McDonald's?
Yes.
Whew. Gotta head back. Get some more.
By the way, Lance Montoya has his own sauce.
I wonder if Lance has a scorcher.
At McDonald's? What are you talking about?
No, I mean Lance Montoya. He has been selling his own sauce.
Oh, he has like a hot picante Mexican sauce kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Does. Right. That's cool. The singer for Offspring has one too. Is really good actually, called Gringo Bandito. I recommend.
I haven't heard of that one. I'm gonna check that out for sure.
Actually, really good. Josh, do you have a Smart and Final in your area?
I have no idea what that is.
It's like a bargain market, like a grocery outlet kind of place.
Oh, okay. I got a grocery outlet. That's about it.
They might have it there. I just know Smart and Final has it. We used to go there for products for our cafe, and we would always grab a bunch of jars of the Gringo Bandito, which is the
Ah,
Dexter Holland. Is that his name? Right?
yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
He's on the label with the sombrero and some sunglasses on. But I laughed when a buddy of mine told me this stuff's great, and I what? And he worked for the dude, and so he gave me a couple bottles, and I was like, "This is fucking good, actually."
Nice.
There you go.
We got one more, Josh.
I have one more.
Okay.
We have one more question here, Soya, and usually when you're on here with a bass player, you issue a challenge. And I wanted to close with this one because there's a young man who issued the challenge to himself. The note is, Soya, can you rate my Tommy the Cat? I'm 17. I've only been playing bass for about 2 years, but playing has always kind of come naturally to me. I've worked my ass off on this song, and I'm confident with it. Curious to know what you think.
All right, send it. I'm going to be honest. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, Soya.
That's pretty good. You're on the right path there, pal. Sounds great. You give it about a 6, 5, 6, 5.5.
There's so many subtleties to that and intricacies.
Yeah, I mean, it's got all the notes are in there, and he's plucking it pretty good.
Yeah,
it's a little floppy and flippy and floppy, but yeah, decent. It's good enough that you would know what it is if you weren't told what you were going to play.
Yeah,
give it that.
It sounds like he's got the outline, and now it's filling it in is the next step.
Yeah, there's a flow to that song, as opposed to playing it this part and that part, and then this part again, and that part again. Like that's the one key to that thing is it just really just cruises along, you know?
Yeah. There you go, kiddo. There's some free advice.
Keep it up, man. You're doing good. It sounds great.
Definitely.
Frankie approves.
So I got to open it with a question. Frankie, would you like to close it with a question for
Oh,
Soya?
God. Come on, Frankie. Give me something.
I think you're the right guy to ask this question. The stock on this Caroline CD is readily available. The vinyl, we know that the Big Prawn is the first press, very rare to come by, but even scarcer, even rarer is the Red 22 cassette tape. Do you have any clue why that is so rare?
Did it actually come out on cassette on Red 22 Prawn song?
Yes. The spine reads Red 22 and the text is blue as opposed to white, which is very easy to find.
You have the cassette? You can find it?
I have it, yeah.
And it's scarce or?
Very scarce, very difficult to come by.
I think the answer to that is easy enough. There's no money to just print tons of that shit. By the time Caroline came along, Suck on This was like, whatever, we'll put that on Caroline. We're not going to put on tens of thousands in each format. We're going to move on to the album that we're releasing, you know? So I'm actually surprised. Did Caroline put that out as Red 22? Is that what you're saying? I don't remember Les making cassettes, so that had to have been a Caroline thing.
Huh.
So give me a moment.
You gotta get rid of your weird screen for us to see anything, Frankie.
Suck on This cassette tape, Prawn song, Red 22, 1989, manufactured in the United States. Yes, and the text is blue.
Right there.
And the spine reads Primus Suck on This, Prawn song, Red 22. Yeah.
Trippy. Okay, so here's my take. I'm not giving you an actual answer of truth or fact, My take on what that is when Primus had already put out Suck on This, and it obviously started snowballing and generated much interest. If they got picked up by Caroline, and that's the only thing they had, Caroline would have put money into keeping that going until they could get Frizzle Fry out, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And with cassettes being a format that Les wasn't able to afford because he was only able to do the LPs, obviously, Caroline might have said, hey, we'll put some money in and put out another pressing of Suck on This on Red 22, and we'll do some cassettes. And then that's it. And then we're going to move right into Frizzle Fry.
Huh.
It's got to be where those came from, because I know Les didn't pay for that. I can ask him, but I've never even seen that, to tell you the truth.
Very rare. Yes.
It's not a bootleg, huh?
No, it's official.
What does the cassette say on the actual tape? There's no other funky information on that? Prawn song.
Pretty standard stuff there, yeah.
Published by Sturgeon. I mean, it could easily be, that's got to be some kind of Caroline money involved in that. That they kept it pumping until they could get Frizzle Fry actually out.
Interesting.
I'll ask Les. That's another bucket question.
Thanks, Tim.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
We are piling up the mysteries here on Better Call Soya.
Man, so that bucket's got some tasty morsels in there to be figured out.
It sure does. Cats and lyrics
Perms.
and perms.
Perm drawings, cassette tapes. Man, that's a grab bag right there and a half,
You
man.
bet. That's my takeaway. Perms. That's my word of the day.
God, the perm.
Man. Soya, I hope we broke up the monotony of life on the road, hotel life, and just gave you a little bit of a break.
I love it, man. This is what I know the best is Primus. So it's fun for me to wake up in the middle of the night and talk about Primus. I don't mind at all, actually. In fact, we're going to do an episode with Hoffman coming up here, right? We get that figured out yet?
Oh, we would love that so much.
I would love to get that nailed down.
Yes, we will go crazy.
Thank you so much, Soya, for waking up
Soya.
early.
Anytime. I mean, whenever, dude. I don't care. If it's an episode I'm into, I'll do it whenever I can. I don't give a crap about waking up, whatever.
Here's a little nugget for you, Tim. There's a recording from the Brown album days where Les goes, okay, we're going to do an old Oasis number. And then he goes into My Name is Mud.
Oh, nice. Because he knows about... There is a funny story. I think I've told you guys the story of me and Oasis, right? Tried to borrow a cymbal from the drummer and he wouldn't let me use it.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah. It's funny. That was at a festival in Holland in 1994 called Lowlands.
Wow.
Victim's Family was kind of ending the 90s run we had over here. And we were like third from the top on the second stage of a big ass, 80,000 people festival. It was killer. And Oasis was playing right before us. And obviously, definitely, maybe if it had even come out at that point, it had only been out for a week. So nobody even knew who they were, particularly in Holland. They were from England at that time. So nobody was in the tent when they played. And my cymbals were broken. And I asked the drum tech, if I could use the cymbal. And he said, let me ask the drummer. Came back, said, yeah, drummer says no. So
come on.
So we go out and watch Oasis for a second. It was a big, gigantic circus tent. And we pull the curtain and I look to see who these fucking guys are. Like, what's going on? This guy won't even let another fellow drummer borrow a cymbal. And they're playing their jangly Oasis stuff and didn't do anything for me at the moment. I only watched a couple minutes,
Yeah.
And the fucking tent was empty, like empty. Like you could count less than 50 people were in the tent watching these guys, which is par for the course if nobody knows who the fuck you are and you're playing on one of the side stages at a festival.
Yeah.
I think Cypress Hill was on the main stage while they were playing, right?
Oh, they're going to take everybody. Yeah.
And so, ironically, we go to roll our stuff out after they got done and we set up and line checked and the tent was fucking empty. Like nobody had come in, because Cypress Hill was still playing. And so we kind of thought, oh, we're going to play to an empty tent as well. Whatever. Okay, we get it. It's a festival. We're not that big. Yeah. We go out to play Hey, 10 minutes later, there's fucking goddamn 30,000 people crammed into this tent, and out all around it, people going fanatical over Victim's family was amazing.
Wow.
So we took that as a trophy against the asshole that wouldn't let me use the symbol, right? And if you can fucking believe this, the other day I'm sitting in catering, eating lunch with a bunch of our roadies, backline guys. And one of the dudes that's sitting with us is this guy, Phil. And Phil is Noel Gallagher's personal assistant. He kind of takes care of his dressing room, and he's his buddy, and he's been around Oasis forever, as I'm told. Super funny dude. Like, kind of the Soya of Primus is Phil with Noel and Oasis, right? He's like one of those dudes that's been there forever. And we're sitting there having lunch, and he's got a music magazine in his hand, and he's talking to these guys, and I can barely figure out what the hell they're talking about half the time, because once English dudes start talking fast, their slang gets really thick, and you really got to pay attention. I mean, even though I've been around it for a long time, it still gets hard to understand. So they're talking, I'm just eating my lunch. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I could see he's got this music magazine, and he's showing dude the picture on the cover. And then he turns it and shows the other dude sitting next to me, guitar tech. And I'm like, what is that? Let me see that, Phil. And he shows me, and it's this music magazine, and it's a picture of Oasis, and they're really young. And he's like, you see that? I'm like, yeah, who's that dude? And I point to the dude in the middle of the band on the cover. They're standing there backstage or something. And he's like, that's me. I'm like, oh, really? I mean, 94, that was what? 31 years ago, right? So all of us look different after 31 years. So I'm like, oh, that's you as a kid. I'm like, why the fuck are you on the cover? He's like, oh, mate. It's like, this was in 1994 when Oasis just came out. We were doing some gig, and this magazine dudes came down to do an interview, took a picture, and I happened to be standing there when the dude took the picture, and they didn't know that I wasn't in the band, so they still put the picture on the cover of this magazine. I just saved it. I brought it down to show so-and-so and so-and-so, some other buddies. I was like, I saw Oasis in 94. He's like, no way. How would you have seen Oasis in 94? And I said, well, here's my story. And I told him the fucking story. And sure as motherfucking shit, he goes, dude, I was the dude that told you can't borrow the symbol. I was the roadie for Oasis then. I was the only dude that was their roadie. And I was setting up the gear. I remember that show in the big circus tent, and I remember setting up. It's like, I don't remember that moment, but it would have been me. I was the only one that was setting up the drums then.
Wow.
Like, dude, you're the dude that told me no, that made me hate Oasis till they are paying me a shit ton of money to work for them. All right, cool.
Yeah, right, yeah. All is forgiven now.
All is forgiven now. It was cool. I mean, it wasn't his fault. It was the drummer that ultimately said no, but it just put the pieces together that was the dude. Full circle on that one.
Freaking small hilarious. World, man. That is outstanding. Thanks, man. Is it coffee time or nap time for you?
Not yet. I don't think he opens till 7, so I got nothing to do for 2 more days. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't know if I can collect more questions in 2 days, but I'll try.
Yeah, if you got more, call me up. I'll do it. I don't give a shit.